Hey guys, in today's video I'll be covering how to install an eGPU onto your Mac, and not just Mac, in Bootcamp. So in Mac it's very easy. All you got to do is just plug in your eGPU with a card in there and you're good to go. Now I've got a Razer Core X and the 5500 XT Sapphire Pulse version, and I've got a MacBook Pro 13-inch, the 2020 version. So I'll just show you guys, and it's running Big Sur. So as you can see, that's the version 11.0.1 Big Sur. It's a 2020 quad-core MacBook Pro. It's got 2.3 gigahertz processor, 32 gigs of RAM, and it's also got 2 terabyte hard drive. Now that's the Intel Iris graphics in there. Okay, now let me get everything rolling. Now first things first, you have to hold down Options key. So I'm not going to speak much in here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the Windows just to show you guys my eGPU is working, and I'm then going to just reinstall everything. So right, see how nothing's plugged in except for the headphone jack, which doesn't make much of a difference, but that's how it's got to be. I have had a few restarts where I didn't have to hold the Option key and I had the startup disk as Windows and it worked, and I had a USB hard drive connected on the right side. But whenever I had an issue, all I had to do is just have the startup disk as macOS, hold down the Option key, boot into Windows, and not have anything connected, have the eGPU, then disconnect it like I just did, and just wait for all the drivers to upload load. So that's what I was waiting for. So it has to be plugged in into the for the one that's closest to us, not furthest from us. So as you can see, the screen's gone on the MacBook, and I've got it like that myself. And if we go up here, we've got it on, sorry about this because this is the only way I can get it done. All right, now let's get, sorry about all the shaking. So let's get this, and let's go into settings. Let's go into system. So that's the second screen. So this is the second screen, HDR on. Yeah, so as you can see, you've got the Intel, the RAMs installed and everything, and that's the Windows version I'm using, Windows 10 Pro 19.03, and that's the OS build version. It is different than the one I used to install it. I haven't had any problems on this Mac updating the drivers, updating Windows, but on my MacBook Pro 16-inch I did have any update that I do, it just crashed the whole thing. So the eGPU stopped working. Now let's show you guys that I'm not getting the error 12. Now for those of you who don't know what error 12 is when your eGPU doesn't work. So if you go into device manager, and as you guys can see, you've got AMD Radeon RX 5700 XT, so it's working. Okay, when you have that little yellow triangle with the exclamation mark, I think, in there, that means error 12. And how you can check if you're getting error 12 is, where did my mouse go? Oh yeah, okay, just right clicking on that and going into properties, and it'll tell you if it's got error 12 there. Okay, All right, now without further ado, let's go back into Mac and let's get rid of everything and redo the whole process for you. Okay, I'm gonna just put this back onto my laptop. And I think that's where I had it. Turn off the eGPU because that'll just muck things up. Now what I'll do is I'll plug in the power. All right, now let's go into Bootcamp. Now, because I've already got Windows installed, it'll make my life a little bit harder. So I'll just do that. So don't worry about this. If you guys don't have Bootcamp, don't worry about all this. So if you're starting fresh, I'll show you how to do it. Now, before you start, you'll need a few things. You'll need a DDU uninstaller. Okay, so in the link in the comments, I'll have the links. So you'll need that. You'll also need an exact build from a website of Windows 10. It has to be Windows 10 1903, and there's two of them. One that I showed you just now on this computer, and the one that works with eGPUs always is ends in .30. So I'll include the link in there as well. So those are the two files you need. And what I also want you to do is either go to AMD and download, I'll have the link there, to download their drivers. It's specific what I want you to download. Either download that, or what you can do is download Bootcamp drivers. And the drivers that you will need is the April one and the latest one. Get the April one because it's very stable, and it says on their website as well, if you've got certain Macs, it'll work better with it. I've just found out that installing the April one, then installing whatever the latest one for myself at the moment is October, works better. So just have those drivers downloaded and not have it on a hard drive, and possibly have it on the computer if you can. If you have it on a hard drive, it's not an issue either. So we'll go through those. So imagine you're installing it for the first time now. So you've just booted into Windows. What I want you to do is go down to Bootcamp Assistant, or actually you wouldn't have it there. So go into Launchpad, go into Other, go into Bootcamp. So now, so those three files are what you need. So I'll have the in comments exactly which one to get. If you get this, get that. So get April and October, and if you don't want to muck about with that, just go to the AMD website and download those. I want you to download them and have them with you, because I don't want you to upload Windows when you get it. All right, so continue. It's just making sure that, okay, so secure boot is another thing I have to remember to get you guys to turn off. So you have to turn that off. So do whatever you want with this. So I'm happy with, like, on my main computer that I use for gaming, which is a MacBook Pro 16 inch. I just use 80 actually. I've increased it to 80. Okay, so choose file. Now I've got it on a network drive. So there you go. All right, so I've got it there, but you guys download it and have it ready on your desktop or whatever. So just click install and that'll get things started. Alright guys, so I've already extracted this file, so you'll obviously click run and then extract it. Okay, you can do it beforehand as well. Anyways, so it'll be around there. So let's get out of here. That's the extracted version. Let's go in there, open this up. Okay, that's DU, that's the extracted version. And that's it. And then I want you to do exactly the boxes I've clicked and click the last one as well, which prevents Windows updating it and taking Bootcamp out if you're doing Bootcamp. Do GPU, do NVIDIA a couple of times, do AMD a couple of times, and do Intel a couple of times. Now, what I want you guys to do here is go, before you shut down, after you've closed DDU, go into Device Manager. And once you've opened that up, I want you to go into Camera, FaceTime Camera, disable that. Okay, you don't need that, unless if you love Apple spying on you. Turn Glen Iris Graphics as well. Disable it. There's a few things out there that say to disable that as well. Also, if you do that, go down and like change the view and do PCI Express port, root port. Okay, so this is for the 13-inch MacBook Pro. So the last three, sorry. Leave the last one. Ambient light sensor as well, turn that off. You're not going to need it if you're playing to the external monitor. Just saving some resources. And after this you can restart. I would prefer you to shut down. Now after the restart, what I want you to do is go into Bootcamp drivers, the two that I told you to install. If you haven't installed the not going that way and you're going AMD, just run that now, but you'll need to connect to the internet. So before you do that, just stop for now. I'll do this for everyone who's doing Bootcamp drivers. So I'll tell you where you can follow it from. Anyway, so Bootcamp drivers, you'll need to install it first. So don't worry about all this stuff for now. I want you to go into setup and just make sure your GPU is connected now, and just start setup. Now this will detect your graphics and everything like that and install. You should get an error in the end. Make sure you click install and always trust Bootcamp drivers. You won't get this with AMD drivers. Now once you get the error, don't worry too much about it. I want you to do a few things before you go onto the internet. Just to make sure, like I'm paranoid because any update will break this GPU setup. Okay, I've tried it with all. I've read online stuff, I've tried them, didn't work for me. This works for me, so I'm sticking with it. So first of all, before you go to the internet, I want you to go to services, app. Once that opens, go all the way down and go to Windows Update. Okay, so right click that, stop it if it's running. So then go to Properties and disable. Okay, this will keep enabling from time to time for some reason. Now close that. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to type gpedit and go into this, go to administrative templates and go to Windows components, go all the way down to Windows updates, then config automatic updates. So right click that, edit, enable that, and go to number 2 and go all the way down every week. Just cross that out and then okay it and get out of there. That's it. Now the third final step is the most helpful one I've found, but I do all 3 on mine. So go to whatever your Wi-Fi is, just connect to that. Don't auto connect because I don't want it to auto connect every time. Not all games need the internet, so PUBG needs it, so I'll let it connect to the internet. Put in your Wi-Fi password and all that, and as soon as it connects, it comes up with a properties thing. Yep, click on that, and what I want you to do is go down and go to metered and turn on metered. Now make sure you don't turn on automatic updates on metered, so then it'll just defeat the whole purpose of doing that. Now this will tell me what that error is, and you'll need to follow those steps to turn it off. Okay, so type sysdm.cpl okay, then go to properties, so just follow what I'm doing here. And go to no. Make sure this is no. Okay, and save changes. Okay, get the hell out of here. Alright, don't worry about this error, as I said. Restart your system. Okay, plug the eGPU out again. Okay, so what I want you to do is whatever's the latest one at the time of this video. The October one was the latest one. So make sure you do December or January or whatever yours is, and go. So after April, do whatever the latest one is. So install that one. So just go in and click setup. And make sure before you do that, you connect your eGPU to your computer again. Just let it run its course. Alright guys, so there you go, you've got another error. Don't worry about it again. And what I want you to do is go ahead and shut your computer right off. I need you to do a few things before everything happens, so I'll guide you through those. So after restarting and logging into Windows, what I want you guys to do is download this app that I've got in the link called Clover and run it. Now what I want you guys to do is mount the partition. Now sometimes it will give and like not do anything and look like it's not doing anything even after you've mounted the partition. So it'll not say open partition, it's still mount partition, but it'll mount it. So what I want you to do is just open Finder and go into EFI, then go into boot, then change your boot EFI to boot. Just change the name and put underscore original in front of it. Okay, and then I want you to, the custom one that I have, unzip it first, not like me, not put the zip in there. Unzip it first and put the unzipped copy on there. Okay, and just shut your computer down again. Now when you restart it, I want you to hold down the option key, and this is one last thing I want you guys to do. Go into macOS recovery options, Command R, by the way, sorry, Command R. Then you need to put your password in, and then you need to go into utilities and startup, and enter your password again, and you need to go no security and allow from external bootable media. Okay, and that's it. Restart your computer after that, and all you got to do is hold the option key. This is very important. Your boot has to be macOS. Don't boot to Windows. Okay, boot to macOS, but before the system kicks in, as soon as you turn the computer on, press the option key and it'll come up with an option saying, do you want to go ahead and boot into macOS or Windows? Now your GPU should be plugged in. eGPU should be plugged in at this time. Okay, click go to Windows, log into Windows. It'll ask you whether you want the EFI to be loaded. Press any key except for Z key. Z disables it. You don't want it disabled, you want it enabled, because what it does is it disables your dedicated GPU. So after you press any key, the computer just boots up. Now as soon as you get Windows logo and the spinning logo under Windows, take the GPU out. After you've taken the eGPU out, when it boots up completely, so make sure it's completely booted and don't plug it back in. Okay, so let it completely boot, and after it's completely booted, just plug it in any side, left or right. Okay, the first time you plug it in, it takes about 10 minutes. Now make sure your eGPU is connected to an external screen. The external screen is on as well. Okay, so when you plug in the eGPU, just leave it. It takes a good 10 minutes to set it up. Okay, after it's set up, sometimes it gives an error and things like that. Just shut it down again, boot it back up, exactly the same thing. You need to do it every single time like that for the eGPU to work, and that's it. All right, that's it from me then.